Friendship and friendship has always been the way for our city teams. And now the second season begins. Jack Gilmore's Allegany High School Campers versus Edgewood. Brought to you by Custom Floors, Daytree's Restaurant, Kelco Federal Credit Union, Days Market, Hartley's Pizza, Brown's TV, Potomac Farms Dairy, Wayne Chevron, and Potomac Valley Pharmacy in Cumberland. Now, today's announcers, Chuck Lehman and Mark Widmeyer.
Hi everyone, from Greenway Avenue Stadium, TCI Cablevision of Maryland is proud once again to present high school football. It's the championship round featuring the Allegany Campers, the #1 rated team in Class 2A against the 8th seeded team, the Edgewood Rams from down in Hartford County. I'm Chuck Lehman along with Mark Widmeyer. Glad to have you with us, and it's a typical football weather-wise, Mark Widmeyer, for the Allegany Campers.
No, it's not, Chuck. Typical was 80 degrees, 75 degrees. That was typical. But this is what Allegany has had faced them. Probably 5 out of the 10 games that they played this year was wet, mud, dirt, and just terrible conditions. But in all the games that they've participated in, Chuck, in this type of weather, they have fared fairly well. So maybe this is the kind of game or kind of weather they like. I don't know. But it comes down to, I pointed out a couple weeks ago, which team is going to come out here mentally prepared to play in this kind of weather and conditions. And when I say prepared, literally they block it out of their mind exactly what the field conditions are and just go do what they have to do.
So the captains are meeting at the center field with the officials. The captains out there for the Campers are number 83, Coons, number 62 is
Scott
Pfeiffer, and number 43 out there is Todd Barrick, the captains for the visiting team. Howie Adams, number 10. Number 21 is Andre Samuel. Number 30 is Larry Blackston. And number 77, Cedric McCoy. So we're all set here to go with the championship round, the Allegany Campers and the Edgewood Rams from down in Hartford County. We're going to be ready for the kickoff in just a moment. Okay, we're just about ready to get underway. The officials from one of the other boards, these are not local officials. The referee is Larry Hinkle, the umpire Bernie Jones, the linesman is Dave Potts, the field judge Blake Waslip, and the back judge is Jeff Kimball. So the Campers are going to get the ball, and this has been something also very typical of the Campers. Only 2 times so far this year they have not taken the opening drive and just drove it down the field for a touchdown. One of those was against Jefferson, but on the second possession they got in and it was all downhill from there. I do not remember who the other one was, but there has been 2 occasions where they have not taken the opening drive.
One odd thing about this, Chuck, Allegany is going to get the kickoff in both halves. They actually won the toss and refused, so Edgewood has chosen to kick off. You have to question why. I don't know. That's just the coaching theory, but they've made up their mind that that's what they want to do. They're down there right now, Edgewood is, without a ball to kick. So that's a major problem that they're going to have to get straightened out here before too long.
And what's going on out here right now is the kicker, is number 14, Andy Martin, actually has the ball outside the hash marks in an area where he can get some footing. Now they're going to have to clarify this because normally the ball has to be kicked somewhere between the hash marks. So I think they're going to make him move it. We'll see.
Well, the officials have no way of altering the rules. They've got to obey by the rules.
So this team coming in here at 8-2, Mark, they do have a good sized ball club as far as size. They have their linemen are all in excess of 200 pounds. They've got tackles listed here 250 and 235. Their centers at 200. One guard at 225 pounds. Their tight ends are all up around 200. So they are a big team.
Well, they're a power eye offense, and that's what they gear for. They got to have the big linemen. They depend on their size to move the defensive line out of the way and basically power the ball at you, and that's how they're going to operate today. Okay,
so Andy Martin has it teed up. He's ready to kick it off. Back deep are Eric Harper and Brian Miller for the Campers, and here we go, and it's a short kick, and Miller has it at the 17-yard line, coming straight up the middle. He has a seam.
He gets one more block. That's all he's going to need. He is gone.
And Brian Miller is going to run it 83 yards for a touchdown for the Campers.
I tell you, Chuck, the hole opened up right through the middle. It had to have been at least 10 yards wide. There was one man got down early. Alleghany was able to take him out of the play, and it was Brian Miller right up the middle from there on.
So that took 12 seconds, Mark.
He broke it to about the 50 and then made a cut to the right hash mark, that's the second one I've seen him run back in this tremendous playing conditions that we have. The last one was against, I think, Jefferson. He picked the ball right up out of the mud puddle.
Out of the mud puddle. So Brian Miller electrifies this crowd with an unofficial 83-yard kickoff return. The Campers are on the board, and as per last week, they will be going for two. It's Scotty Bauer at quarterback. The fullback is number 32, Michael. And we're going to have a rollout here, looking for it to throw it, and that's the first pass Rickards dropped all year. So it's a Campers 6. And the Edgewood Rams nothing. Now Scotty rolled out to the left. He had Sean.
He was wide open.
Wide open in the backfield and just bounced it off his chest. So the Days Market scoreboard shows that it is Alleghany 6 and Edgewood's nothing. And Days Market and Deli supports the Campers in their quest for the state championship. For those holiday party meats and other food items, remember Days Market and Deli at the corner of Baltimore Avenue and Decatur Street. So Shannon Stevens will now tee it up for the Campers. Back deep to receive.
I guarantee you this one kicker don't care where he kicks from.
Yeah, okay. He did a real good job last week of kicking that. They got back deep in the middle. It's number 21, Andrea Samuel. He's flanked by Brian Johnson. And he's flanked on the other side by Larry Blackston. So the deep man is Andre Samuel. As Shannon Stevens tees it up.
I'm sure quite a shocker right off the bat for the Rams, but you tell you that's a chance you take when you kick off against a team you've never played before and haven't really seen that much.
So a nice kick by Stevens. Blackston has it at the 18-yard line. And he's down at the 30. Good coverage by the Campers.
Harry Riggleman down on the tackle, number 55 for Alleghany. Of course, Riggleman, a junior, 5'9", 185 pounds, and he'll be back next year.
Okay, offensively, they're going to come out with number 88, Reggie Brown at tight end. The tackles are number 75, Biles, at 232 pounds, and McCoy at 273 at the tackles. Here we go, 1st and 10 from the 30. Handoff is to the fullback coming through, and that's Andre Samuel. And he gets maybe a yard. Okay, and the inside, man, the guards are Driscoll at 230 pounds and Nash at 154. The center is Mike Burkhart. And in the backfield, they're going to have Howie Adams, number 10 at quarterback. Blackston, Samuel in the running as the running backs, Faze and Johnson as the wide receivers. So Howie Adams waiting for the snap. He's trying to throw a little popper, and it's batted down. Randy Wolford got that big paw up there and knocked it down, so it's a 3rd down. And 10 it was intended for number 88, the tight end, Reggie Brown.
Wolford did a good job that time, just getting his hand up in the air and really batting it down. Because the receiver was open. He was going to be open for a second. Had Wolford not been able to knock it down, it possibly could have been completed.
Well, that's a tough pass to defend anyhow.
Anyway, that's right.
Coming in there, so, you know, that's... So double wideouts. So Adams call signals. Ah, nice job. Real nice defense by the Campers, and that's Cassidy.
You got Cassidy,
Wolford
and Klein.
And Klein on the stop. So it's a loss back to the original line of scrimmage. It's going to bring up a 4th down and 10.
They use a 2-quarterback system. They have all year, and what they do, number 10 seems to be the quarterback that they put in when they're going to run the ball, and number 14, Martin, is the guy who'll come in when they're going to pass. But Martin is coming off of a broken collarbone, so we don't know how much action he will see.
So it's a punting situation as Miller and Harper are back deep to receive. There's a bad snap, and Stevens is after him, and Shannon has him inside the 3.
Here again, a little bit, Chuck, maybe some of the conditions are coming into the game. We've got a center trying to snap a wet ball, and these are things that just happen. And you know, unfortunately for the Rams and very fortunately for the Campers, it's going to give the Campers just another tremendous opportunity here early in this game.
So they're going to spot it. I think they're actually going to spot it at the 2-yard line. So in the bad snap, Shannon Stevens is able to cover the punter, and it's a great break for Allegany.
I'm sure they're not going to take very long here in trying to put this one in the end zone either.
Scotty Bauer in for the touchdown on a 2-yard quarterback sneak.
It's been a kind of the way things have gone for the Campers this year, Chuck. They take advantage of every opportunity that's given to them. They usually don't squander many scoring opportunities, particularly when you get the ball first and 10 at the 2 or first and goal at the 2-yard line. And they're a very opportune team. And if you make mistakes against them, you're going to suffer for it. And of course, that's what the Rams have found out here today. Edgewood, of course, the kickoff being run back, and now they screw up a punting situation.
So there's Michael in for, no, that's Cassidy for the 2-point conversion.
So at 9:36 to go here in the game, we've got a 14-0 Allegany lead. And the blue and white fans, the Hardy fans, I'm going to say, that showed up today, and it looks to me like probably, Chuck, 800 to maybe 1,000 sitting over there. And I'll tell you one thing, they deserve all the credit in the world for coming out here.
Well, they sure do. And you look over at this side, there's a lot of people on this side, too. So the weather conditions out here are not that great, but there's a lot of good football fans out here, as we just saw on the day's market scoreboard. It is Allegany 14 and Edgewood nothing. Marks it at 9:36 remaining in the first period. So the Campers on the board with 2 quick touchdowns. And that's got to be real tough for any team coming into your home park, being down 14-0, and there's not 3 minutes gone. Tough situation. Stevens to kick off. And it's handled at the 25-yard line by number 83, and he's tackled very quickly by number 88 of the Campers, John Scoopus.
Tell you, Scoopus was down there along with Stevens again. Stevens took the initial block route. Scoopus was right there to knock the runner down.
Okay, Chad Cornke, the ball carrier. So they're going to start it where they started their last drive, right at their own 30-yard line.
I tell you, Edgewood's got a double problem now. Not only are they down, they've got to be down a little bit mentally probably now. And they're looking around saying this weather's not going to get any better for us, and we're not going to have a lot of fun today unless we can put something together right here.
So Holly Adams, the quarterback, and he's on a quarterback keeper. He's not going to get very much.
I think it was a blown play. He was actually intended to hand that ball off, but it looked to me like he didn't have the ball in the right hand. And when he turned around, the halfback came through, but nobody there to take it.
And Cassidy once again makes his presence felt from his defensive end. He was right there to stop him, give him a gain of 1. Be 2nd down and 9.
Allegany came into this game, Chuck, pretty healthy. I think probably the only question mark was Klein, and talking to the coaching staff, that he's probably only going to play defense today. So other than that, they're pretty healthy.
So long count. Blackston, the fullback, or the tailback, he gets maybe a yard. Hey, the Campers' defensive line is just doing one heck of a job out there.
Well, I'll tell you, Chuck, if Edgewood is expecting to score or going to expect to move the ball against Allegany, they're going to have to do something different than what they're doing, because running stuff up the middle is just not going to work constantly against Allegany's defense. I mean, they prided themselves all year. They gave up like 42 points all year, and they're very stingy with yardage.
So we got wide outside here is Brian Johnson on one side. And again, it's an I formation. Again, it's a long count by Adams, the quarterback. And it's to the fullback, and he's not going much of anywhere. Dave Klein submarines him at the 34. So that's going to bring up a punting situation on a 4th down and a long 5.
And so far, the punting situation for Edgewood has been quite an adventure. So now what you got the center knowing what he did the last time, so he's going to be thinking about it a little more this time. And
he might even bounce one on the ground this time.
Well, anything could happen. Picking the ball up out of the mud.
Blackston is back in punt formation. Again, Miller and Harper back deep for the Campers. Good snap this time. And an end-over-end kick. It's going to bounce. Harper at the 43. Greg can't find anywhere to go. Or, pardon me, the 37. He gets a 3-yard pickup back to the 40.
I'll tell you, they're in prime real estate right there right now, because I'll tell you one thing. He got that ball, he got hit, and when he was on the ground, he slid about 3 feet backwards.
And we have a timeout on the field with an injured player, so we're going to take a timeout here for this commercial break. Okay, after the injury timeout to number 81, Jason French, but he got up under his own power and came off the field, so it's a Campers ball, 1st and 10 at the 40. Joe Wolf, the center, brings him out. Again, it's Ashby wing on the right side, Scotty Ballard quarterback, and it's to the fullback. See, that's to Thad Michael, and Thad gets about 3 yards. They're going to be alternating running the plays in today with Thad Michael and David Cassidy. As Mark mentioned, Dave Klein is just playing on defense, so he's normally one of the messenger guards. He will not even play on offense today. So we'll try to give this offensive lineup for the Campers up front. Miller and Ricker are the ends. Looks like Oates and Wolford at tackle. And this is Cassidy, and he's up to the 48-yard line. They're going to leave about 1.5 yards for a first down. Excuse me. The guards are Shannon Stevens and number 73, Ray Hilton. So again, Michael checks in with a play from offensive coordinator Toby Eric.
We've been here, we're at 5 minutes to 47 seconds ago in the first quarter, and it's the first time Toby's had to go to work.
Yeah, really, when you think about it. A kickoff return for a touchdown, and you only got to come up with a 2-yard play. And there's Thad Michael, and Thad has the first down as he crosses into the Ram territory at the Edgewood 48.
And they're plowing behind 2 guys. Oates right now is just, he's moving people 4 and 5 yards right on initial contact. So the last 3 or 4 plays have gone behind him, and I'm sure they're not going to be afraid to go to the other side and let Wolford push a few people around either.
Well, so far it's been the fullback, and that's where he's been running, either over right tackle behind Randy Wolford or over left tackle behind Marshall Oates. So it's 1st and 10 at the Edgewood 48-yard line. The fullback once again, Michael, and he'll get down to the 46, pickup of 2 yards. Good sound tackle by number 30, Larry Blackston, linebacker, as he filled the gap. So gain of 2.
That time they just tried to basically influence the defensive line. That time when they pulled Shannon out, thought maybe that hole would open up, but it didn't. 77 for Edgewood stayed right at home that time. McCoy did a good job.
So here we go on a 2nd down and 8. There's Ashby trying to get outside. He's got blockers in front of him.
Hilton did the job that time.
And so did Shannon Stevens.
Hilton, I noticed Hilton first because he was out there and he had to make that initial hit, and he did a whale of a job enabling Ashby to cut back up. And then Shannon came in and knocked the guy down and let him pick up that first down.
So a good carry by Terry Ashby down to the 31-yard line. So good blocks by Hilton and Shannon Gomer Stevens.
Gomer. Go more. I asked him, I said, I've heard people call you Gomer. I'm not about to call him Gomer unless I asked him permission, but yep, said that's my name. Been my name a long time.
A little bit of movement on that line. Harper trying to find some place to go and can't do it. Number 21, Samuel. That play just didn't seem like it.
It was a mess from the start. To be absolutely honest with you, what happened? The defensive end got some penetration, really kind of screwed it up. Hilton came out there. There's 2 guys to block, and he didn't know which one to hit. So
a loss of 4 yards on the play. Going to bring up a 2nd down and 14. The field really is getting to be a muddy mess.
It's the worst I've seen this end of it this year.
Okay, a little bootleg. Got Rickard out here. Deshaun has it. He's down at the 10-yard line. What a catch by Sean Ricker.
I'll tell you, that ball was really thrown perfectly, too, because there was 2 defenders right there, and Ballard got it over the up man just enough so that Ricker could go up and pull it down in.
What a fine catch by Sean Ricker. I really didn't mean to say that when he dropped that extra point attempt back there. That's the first one I've seen him drop all year. But he's just been a fantastic receiver for the...
They might start calling you Chuck Ricker here.
But he also got to credit Scotty Bauer with a perfect pass. There's Cassidy for the score. From 11 yards out, David Cassidy.
I'll tell you, the backs right now, the defensive backs are trying to grab a hold and wrestle these guys down. It's just not going to work. And not with Cassidy and the way Thad Michael runs the ball. You got to get down low and get a hold of their ankles or their thighs or something to slow them up. And so far, Edgewood just has not shown the capability to do that.
So that makes it 20-0. Well, the Campers drove that one 60 yards. And again, we're going for 2.
I'll tell you what, for Edgewood, the mud party's getting just a little bit worse.
Ashby and Terry is in for the 2-point conversion.
He just kind of waltzed out there and waited till things got cleared up and then was able to take it into the end zone.
So that makes it 22-0. 2:49 left in the first quarter. And although Allegany came in here rated as the #1 team in Class 2A, I don't believe anybody thought that we'd be looking at a score like this early in the ballgame.
Not with these conditions. But as I pointed out, here again, Allegany came out here, and basically the conditions don't mean anything to them. I mean, they know they're in mud, but they've been in mud before. And they just came out here and they do what they have to do, and they do not lose anything in their offense. They're still throwing the ball. Their fullback's going to run the ball. They're going to go wide. They're not limited to things that they can't do because of the weather conditions. And I think that just has a lot to say for, every kid on the team. They're just here to win, and that's what they're here to do. They don't care if they look pretty. They're here to win, and they're here to do it whatever way they have to.
And they have done that very, very successfully all year. They have been a great team in the mud. So Shannon Stevens to kick off once again. And he just dribbles it kind of, and one of the up men just falls on it. So they're going to get great field position at the 46-yard line.
A kick like that, you really can't fault the kicker on that with the type conditions he's kicking in. But still, in all,
maybe call. Wait a minute, let's see what's going to go on here.
Got them off sides. They're going to have to kick it over. I'd daggone if I'd take a kick over.
Huh? Well,
it's illegal procedures. The call. I guess you can't. Evidently, you can't.
You can't refuse it.
Refuse that penalty.
Okay, so.
Because if I'd been Edgewood, I'll be daggone. I'd have taken her.
I guarantee I'd have had it. They may not get that far up the field all day.
That was their greatest field position there for about a half a second.
So it is a penalty against the Campers. They knock them back to the 35-yard line. So Shannon will attempt it once again.
Shannon kind of decides where he's going to kick it as he's coming up to the ball, I think, sometimes.
Yeah, that's a better kick. Samuel at the 26-yard line. And he stopped at the 40. So again, good coverage by the Campers down the bottom of that pile. Let's see who gets up from there. Looks like Pfeiffer, Barrick, and Cassidy. Cohen's also in on the stop. So hosted blue jersey. So they've moved up well. They started their first possession at their own 30, a punt. Their second possession at their own 30 and punt. Now they gained 10 yards. They're up to the 40.
Well, scoring-wise, Chuck, Edgewood hasn't been that bad this year. They've scored 199 points, and their opponents have only scored 87. So they're in a position now. They've got more points scored against them right now than any team has ever scored against them this year.
Again, it's a handoff to the fullback Samuels for short yardage.
And I'm not a great procrastinator or a great predictor, but I'm going to say this: if Edgewood doesn't do something else offensively other than what they're doing right now, they're not going to be successful today. So you cannot run the ball up the middle against Allegany.
Klein and Wolford on the stop for the Campers. They gave him a pickup of 3 yards. 2nd down and 7. Jason Faze out here wide to the right side for the Rams. Again, that's that long count. Second man through, Blackson. Nice hole. And Klein trips him up. David I guess you could say he saved a touchdown, or he saved a very big gain. But a fake to the fullback and a second back through gets them into camper territory.
Miller got a hand on him, slowed him up a little bit, but then Klein just got a paw on the back of his jersey and was able to upset his system that way. That time they kicked it outside.
So we're at the camper 39. First man, Samuel, he finds a hole. Keys finally gets him down. He was slowed down by Harper, but they went right up the middle with that play. Good blocking on the offensive line. Now they're inside the 25 down near the camper 23-yard line. 1:07 accounting remaining in the first period. It's Allegany 22, Edgewood nothing.
Just made a liar out of him. They said they couldn't go up the middle, and daggone, next play, here they go.
They did. So again, with double wideouts, I formation. And Blackston, the tailback. He gets good yardage down inside, near the 15-yard line.
Hey, they're kicking the defensive end out. They're blocking down on the tackle, and a little hole or a little seam is opening up. And right now, that's all that Blackston needs. Larry Blackston, 6 foot, 188-pound senior. Excuse me, he's doing a fine job picking his way through that little hole they got there.
He certainly is. So he picks up 7, and it's going to bring up second down and 3 as the Edgewood Rams are on a roll right now. And it's all with running plays, and most of them between the tackles. There's Blackston again. He don't get much this time. Shannon Stevens looked like he was stunning a little bit. And there's the end of the first quarter. The Allegany Campers 22 and the Edgewood Rams nothing. All right, we begin the second quarter from Greenway Avenue Stadium. I'm Chuck Lehman along with Mark Widmeyer. Glad to have you with us for the state playoffs. First round, the Allegany Campers and the Edgewood Rams. Allegany leads by a score of 22-0. However, the Edgewood Rams, starting at their own 40-yard line, have now progressed to the camper 14. It's a third down and 2.
I'll guarantee you there's one woman sitting over there in the blue and whites not watching this. Eleanor Merle, Dave Merle's mother, she won't watch any time the defense is going to even close to getting scored on. She doesn't even look at it.
Okay, so Johnson is split out wide to the left side as Adams, the quarterback, barks the signals. Blackston, no, that's Samuels.
He's still going.
He squirms his way to the 10-yard line. It's going to be a first down.
I tell you, that's about what it is, Chuck. He's just squirming like a little worm down there because when you get muddy like they're muddy, it's tough to get a hold of them. You really got to grab a hold of a shirt or something to keep them from advancing.
Klein and Riggleman down on the bottom of that pile, but it's 1st and 10 inside, or just outside the 10-yard line, between the 10 and 11, so they can get a first down without scoring. So the camper's going to have to dig in here. They send Cornke out wide to the left side, and here goes the man back here in motion, Faze. And Stevens almost got to the quarterback before he could get rid of the ball. He did successfully pitch it to Blackston, but there was Oates and Hilton to make sure he didn't go anywhere.
I'll tell you what,
he's going to lose a yard.
The quarterback and the ball were both in the air at the same time because Stevens had him dumped just as he got rid of the ball.
So the loss is back to the 12. Oh, a loss of a yard and a half. I call it second down and 12.
Those linebackers and safeties, they pride themselves in quarterback sacks, but they just love to get them.
Faze and Johnson are the wideouts for the Rams. Second back through Blackston, stopped at the 9. He was tripped up by Stevens and Riggleman and finally covered by David Klein.
Now, Stevens did the job of turning him in, and Klein was able to stop him just after about a 2-yard gain.
So it's to the 9-yard line. It's third down. And, well, yeah, Mark, we got about 8.5 or 9 yards. You got to have to get inside the 1 for a first down.
They see their second pass right here. If they've got an aerial attack, we might get a chance to look at it.
There's Faze, goes back in motion to the far side. Little play action, and he's not going to get in. He's going to be run out of bounds almost at the line of scrimmage, maybe to the 8-yard line.
Good hustle that time by Oates, was able to force him out of bounds, and good coverage, not very far downfield, but the secondary did a good job of covering the only receiver he sent out. So he really didn't have a lot of receivers to throw to.
So it's going to be 4th and 8.
Well, they're going to take a timeout because they got a decision to make here, whether or not they can kick a field goal or not. And when they do that, or while they're doing that, with a good reminder, or a good chance for us to remind our fans out there that this presentation of very high school football on TCI Cablevision of Maryland's Channel 14 is being brought to you by some of our fine sponsors, Hartley's Pizza. For the best pizza and subs and sandwiches anywhere in town, call Hartley's, now in 3 locations: Williams Street, Lafayette Avenue, and also in National Highway. Also, today's championship round football game is being brought to you by Custom Floors in Burton Shopping Center. Glenn and Shirley Michael have everything you will need for a beautiful new floor, including carpet, vinyl tile, and expert installation by Glenn Michael himself. And we do really appreciate Chuck, and the fans appreciate these sponsors really paying the way to have these games telecast. And really, it gives us a chance to watch the game and broadcast the game in dry conditions.
I guarantee you, if it wasn't for those people, we certainly couldn't do it. So if you have a need for any of the products of the people who sponsor this program, by all means, patronize those sponsors. They will appreciate it, and we certainly will appreciate it.
Indeed.
So it's a 4th down situation, ball at the Camper 8-yard line. And the defensive minds of Dave Merrill and his players trying to figure out what it is they want to do. Also, the offensive minds of Coach Riley's staff, as they're going to send out Jason French wide to the right side and Jason Faze wide to the left. I formation. Adams, the quarterback, pitches, trying to throw it deep. Harper intercepts it. And he's tackled at the 2-yard line.
It's really not going to make much difference. An intercept in the end zone cannot be run out, or can it, Chuck?
Well, an interception can. That's the only thing that can. So
it was a decision on Harper's part. He saw the ball. I'm going to grab her. It's not really a lot of difference. They would have gotten the ball back at about the 7-yard line. Now they have it at the 2. He took what was a sure thing. That was
if he would have downed it in the end zone, he would have out to 20.
Right.
On a touchback. So they lost 18 yards on the play, but you can't fault Greg Harper.
No, he did what he's there to do.
So it's 1st and 10 for the Campers from their own 2-yard line as Harper is split out wide to the right side. And Scotty Bauer still running as he crosses up over the 5 to the 6-yard line on a quarterback keeper.
Just a play to get him a little bit of yardage to play with. I'm sure they'd like nothing more to put together about a 9-minute and 23-second, 98-yard drive here for a score to end this half. But in order to do that, you got to get a little running room, and that's what Bauer was able to do.
So he got it out to the 6-yard line, pick up a 4, 2nd down, and 6. Ashby, a wing on the left side. Another wing T offense. The fullback, Cassidy, up near the 10.
I tell you, doing a real good job that time. McCoy steps up out of his defensive guard position and just stepped through the hole and was able to catch him from the side and was able to pull him down, but not before he gained about 4 or 5 yards.
So we've got a timeout here by the Edgewood Rams. That's their 2nd timeout as we're looking at a 3rd down and 3 situations. So with the timeout on the field, we're going to take a quick timeout here and remind you that this is the Wayne Chevron scoreboard. The Allegany Campers 22. Okay, so we're ready to go. It's the Wayne Chevron scoreboard. Allegany 22 and Edgewood nothing. Wayne Chevron is proud to be co-sponsoring this broadcast of the Allegany playoff game. Again, it's the fullback. Michael Thad will have the 1st down. And also, if you need to have service done on your car, contact Wayne Chevron at the corner of Queen City Drive and Center Street.
One of those things where Thad just wasn't going to be denied. He just kept driving. Like I said, they're trying to tackle him up around the shoulders, and you can't do that against Thad and David Cassidy, because they're just too strong. Their legs are too strong. They just keep churning and gaining yards.
So it's out to the 16-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Campers. Harper a wing on the right side. Little bootleg by Bauer. He's going to be thrown for a loss back to the 10. Good pursuit. I'm sorry, I can't make out his number.
Well, we got, I can see one is 74.
Okay, that's Dan Driscoll.
And I don't know if 77 was the other or not. That's
okay,
McCoy.
We'll say that's Cedric McCoy. So good pursuit by the interior defensive line as Bauer is thrown for a loss back to the 9-yard line. That's going to bring up a 2nd down and about 17.
I don't know whether going through the mud, Bauer had a little trouble negotiating the mud that time or not.
The fullback, very little. Maybe to the 11, Michael, the ball carrier.
We're probably going to call 75's name probably looks like we're going to call him about 100 times today because he's in on just about every tackle.
George Biles, 6 foot, 232 pounds. They're big up front. 237, 273, 256, and 231. I say they're big.
These 3rd and 16s are what Toby Eric makes all his money for. What do you call?
You're going to try to run Harper around the right side. Eric will cross the 15 to the 16-yard line, but it's going to bring up a 4th and 8 or 9.
Well, it was a good defensive stand for that time for the Rams from Edgewood. They were able to hold Allegany, going to make them punt. But Allegany was able still to consume 3 minutes off the clock while they did it. But Edgewood should end up here, Chuck, with really good field position, yeah.
So the line of scrimmage is the 16, 17-yard line. So Shannon Stevens in punt formation. Back deep are Samuel and Cornkey. Stevens, good end-over-end kick. Going to get a nice roll, and they're just going to let it roll, and it's going to be blown dead at the Camper 49. So a nice job by Shannon Stevens.
Be dead in the mud. Okay, that time the snap got back to Shannon a little bit high. He took a little extra time to kick it, but he got her off. Of course, a wet, muddy ball, I don't care who's kicking it, is tough to kick.
It certainly is.
Ray Guy never had to do that, see. He always had these perfect conditions to kick.
Yeah, he played out there in
sunny California.
Oakland, where it never rains in California, does it?
We're at 6 minutes and the clock is running.
Okay, it's 1st and 10 for the Rams from the Camper 49-yard line. As French is all wide out to the left side. I mean, he's way out here.
They have really stretched this field out.
To the first back. Fumble. Campers have it. Allegany has it. Samuel just couldn't keep a handle on the ball. And Cassidy comes up with the fumble.
Cassidy came up with the fumble, but I think it was, it looked to me like Ricker is the one that actually got a hold of the ball and really pulled it loose.
So the Campers get a break at their own 42.
That's probably the easiest way to pick up 25 yards that Allegany is going to find today.
Okay, so with 5 minutes and 20 seconds and counting, Campers trying to do some damage as Ashby comes around the right side. Terry's got a lane. He's down to the 35-yard line. About a 22 or 23-yard pickup for Terry Ashby as he just followed his blockers, and they did a beautiful job of leading the play.
Well, Terry did a great job, too, of following him. I mean, he waited till the right blocks were made. Then when he had to kind of turn on the afterburner, he was able to do that.
So, again, it's the pulling guards that are coming out there, Shannon Stevens and Ray Hilton. So at the 30, we'll actually mark it at the 36. And here comes Ashby once again, and he's dragged down from behind by Blackston on a fine defensive play because it was there again for him.
Right there. What happened that time? Well, Blackston got a tremendous penetration into the backfield, and he actually came over Wolford that time, which is wasn't expected, I'm sure, but Blackston did a great job.
Because it was there looked like
there was another good 15-yard lane up through there. Blackson's still digging mud out of his face.
So no gain on the play, 2nd down and 10. There's Ashby on that counter. It comes back inside and carries inside to 30 to about the 28-yard line. Good pickup. Going to bring up 3rd down and a little more than 2.
Time Shannon and Marshall Oates did a great job of moving their people too, because they actually moved them as far as Ashby was able to go. That's how far they had moved their defensive linemen back. Boy, they're down there in the canal now, yeah, Chuck, let me tell you.
Boy, they surely are.
Charlie Latimer was up here a while ago and handed us all this information. He said there's a depth chart in there for, I said, what's a depth chart for? We have to determine how deep the water is or what? He said, no.
There's Cassidy, nice hole. And he's down to the 15-yard line. Again, great blocking by the offensive line of the Allegany Campers, and Cassidy just explodes through the hole.
And when Cassidy got to the point of impact, he put his head down, wrapped both arms around the ball, and just dove at him and was able to pick up the 1st down.
So the Campers knocking on the door once again. They're at the Ram 15-yard line.
We're at 3:16 to go here in the 1st half. Allegany 22, the Edgewood Rams nothing. Like I said, this is the most points that they've ever had scored against them in a game. Whoa, this is a blown
handoff.
play.
Looked like he missed a handoff.
That's exactly what that was. And Bauer went, no way, Jose, I'm going down here.
So he loses a couple.
They'll go back and discuss it now and say, look here, now don't be doing that to me again.
Looks like number 81 is being escorted off the field by one of the officials. I don't know if he's hurt there. He's kind of holding that one arm a little funny.
Tell you what, I'd be discouraged if I had to wait in the red on today.
I just wonder, you know, Rams, red and white.
And
what was their significance in that? Of course, we're speaking of the Southern Rams.
I know there's a blue and white down there. I'd kind of like to be
Get a hold
able
of
to
that again.
advance.
Ashby, boy, I'll tell you, he was met very abruptly. Is that 74?
That's him.
On the stop, Dan Driscoll.
Driscoll's doing a super job defensively right now.
Boy, I'll tell you, that area down there where they are, you know, particularly on the left side of that offensive line, it is a mess.
You need a Marine license to operate on this field.
You know, we've seen a lot of games in the rain and the mud, but this is the worst I've seen the field.
Chuck, I don't know if I mentioned it before, but this is the 80th event to take place on this field this year.
Bauer looking for Rickard, and he's got it. 15-yard touchdown pass from Scotty Bauer to Sean Rickard.
I'll tell you, Chuck, there are no lights to turn out, but I think the Rams would like to turn the lights out and go on home, because they right now look like a very disgruntled bunch of young men right down there right now. That was not my predicted 98-yard drive. It was interrupted with a punt by Allegany, but that's in essence that's what it turned out to be. And they consumed off of the clock almost 8 minutes.
Oh, here's Ashby, and he just walks in with the 2-point conversion. So it's 30 for the Campers and nothing for Edgewood as we get a shot of Wayne Chevron's scoreboard.
Gives us also a chance, Chuck, to thank some of our fine sponsors at Kelco Credit Union. Kelco covers all your holiday needs. Special Christmas loans from $500 to $1,000 at a whopping 8% Christmas Club yielding 8.25. People on the go with Kelco. And also by Dietrich's Restaurant. The best Italian food for dine-in or takeout is yours for the asking at Dietrich's Restaurant on National Highway in LaVale.
So we do like to thank all those sponsors. And again, you know, the Wayne Chevron scoreboard is Allegany 30 and Edgewood nothing. So Wayne Chevron is proud to be co-sponsoring this broadcast of the Allegany playoff game. If you need to have service done to your car, contact Wayne Chevron at the corner of Queen City Drive and Center Street. The scoreboard also being brought to you by Days Market And Dave's Market and Deli supports the campers in their quest for the state championship. For those holiday party meats and other food items, remember Dave's Market and Deli at the corner of Baltimore Avenue and Decatur Street as Shannon Gomer Stevens. Nice kick. Samuels at the 18-yard line. Trying to come out here on this right side, and Rickert and Stevens and
Coons,
Scoopus,
the whole crew.
Dentinger, they're just a whole bunch of blue shirts. So from the 27-yard line, the Rams will put it in play.
I talked to Charlie Latimer a little bit before the game, and also to Ron Grapenstein, who is really in charge of the facilities, and they did as good a job as they could this week. The field was in great shape like yesterday when the weather was real good, and Ron talked to him this morning. He's the one who told me this is the 80th event that this field has been participating in this year, and you know, in justifying it, that is way too many things to have happen on one
sure is.
football
There's
field.
Blackson, the tailback, and he's tripped up by Randy Wolford.
Wolford just got a hand out there,
because he was looking for some daylight.
Thank you, Paul Long. Paul Long's delivering us some goodies from downstairs, Chuck. And I don't really mind that.
No, they're going to come in handy. Okay, we're under a minute. It's a 2nd down and 1 at the 35-yard line for the Edgewood Rams.
They are a long count team, Chuck.
Now we got some movement.
They're way too long.
Too long that time. That left tackle just couldn't wait any longer. That was George Biles.
Biles, he just decided it was his turn. I'm going to go. But that's been their hit. They've gone to long counts on every snap.
Every series, yeah. The camper's very patient, just sitting there, you know, all those linemen just watching the ball. Every once in a while you can watch Gomer Stevens back there chopping at the mid a little bit, trying to anticipate that snap.
Yeah, he's a hauling and a pawing in that dirt down, well, in the mud. Processed dirt now. With process it with water, it makes it mud.
Boom. Oh boy, what a hit right at the reception point by Randy Wolford. The exchange down on the bottom of that is also Harry Riggleman on the exchange from Adams to Samuel. It was just boom.
Well, they're going to let the clock run out here, Chuck. They don't want any more parts of this. They're going to try to win at halftime. I don't know what you do down 30 points, but whatever it is, they're going to try to do it.
Okay, so we have reached halftime in this championship playoff game for the Class 2A championship in high school football in the state of Maryland. It is Allegany 30 and Edgewood 9. As you get a look at how muddy the field conditions here really are in this ball game, the Allegany Campers lead by a score of 30-0. And we have some first half statistics here. Allegheny with 9 first downs. They have 104 yards rushing, 39 yards passing on a 2-for-3 from Scotty Bauer. Both of those receptions going to Sean Ricker, and one of them for a touchdown. Terry Ashby with 7 carries for 52 yards. David Cassidy 5 carries for 34 yards. And Thad Michael 5 carries for 16 yards. The time of possession, Allegheny 12 minutes 58 seconds. And for Edgewood, 11 minutes and 2 seconds, and they have a total of 3 first downs and 64 yards rushing. So time of possession is not that great, Mark, but the Campers have been able to capitalize on a couple different things. Number one being the initial kickoff return for a touchdown and a bad snap from center. They went 2 yards for another touchdown. And then again, they recovered, another fumble, and are able to run it in on a 58-yard drive, and that's where we stand now, 30-0.
Well, as people look at the game, they'll say everything is going Allegany's way, but then again, Allegany's out there making things go their way. I mean, they're helping the situation a little bit. The Rams, as you say, kicked off. Alleghany ran it back. They tried to punt from deep in their own territory. The punt went over snap went over the punter's head, and they had down the ball on the 2-yard line. Those are things that just happen in the ball game, and you got to be ready to react to them. But
well, good teams sometimes make their own breaks too.
That's true. Yeah. That's very true. And Alleghany is in the position right now that they've got the Rams down by 30, and they got another half to play. And I don't care how dedicated you are, or I don't care how enthused you are. you're coming out here and you got a white and red uniform on right now, you are discouraged, and I don't care what the coach has said to you. But the Rams are not, I mean, you know, I'm not counting them out of the ball game because, you know, they've, like I say, they've scored against two teams. They scored over one team. They scored 20 points. They've scored 35 points. They've put points on the board. The thing that they haven't done, and I think has got them in the hole they're in, they've never given up this many points. The most points they ever gave up was, I think, 21 points. Season-wise, they've only given up 86, or 87. So they're on the brink of. Well, they're on the brink right now, the worst defeat they've ever suffered. And
okay, they haven't run into a team like the Campers. So we're going to be ready for that second half kickoff in just a moment. This is... Okay, the Campers are going to receive the kickoff to start the second half.
Well, in our case, Chuck, it'd be nice to see an instant replay. We don't have that, but let's see if we can't work one out here.
So it will be Andy Martin kicking off for the Rams. Back deep are Harper and Miller, and up front in front of them are Jeff Keys and Terry Ashby. They're about the 22 or 23 yard line. Miller and Harper nestled in back near the 10. And a statistic was given to us at halftime. In the playoffs, since the playoff system has started, the Allegany Campers playing here at Greenway Avenue Stadium coming into this game are 5-0. So they have not lost at home in the state playoff system since it began. Well, it's a short kick by Rickard at the 28-yard line. And Sean comes busting up to the 40, across the 40, maybe to the 41.
Rickard doesn't possess that blazing speed that maybe a Miller does, but he's got to look for somebody to run over top of.
So it's not too bad a field position as that they're going to start from their own 40-yard line. Out there in the middle of the muck.
He was able to run it to probably the worst spot on the field ever. Scotty Bauer and the center Wolf are going to thank him for that. They're going to pick the ball up out of the mud here.
So Joe Wolf is at center. Again, Scotty Bauer is at quarterback. Thad Michael, and Thad crosses the 45 to about the 47-yard line. He's going to get 7 yards on the pickup. So Michael and Harper and Ashby in the backfield.
Larry Blackston that time in on the stop, as he has been in on quite a few of them, out of that linebacker spot. And when the linebackers and the cornerbacks and safeties are making the tackles, you know that the up front team of the Allegany offensive line is doing their job, Chuck.
Okay, and they are alternating now. David Klein is in at the offensive guard position. You are alternating he and Hilton. So here's Harper trying to get around the left side. Greg will get to midfield. It's going to be very close to a first down. So up front for the Campers is Joe Wolf, number 51 at center. The tackles are Oates, 74, and Wolford, 71. The guards, Stevens, 66, and Klein, 60, and he will be alternating right now in the game is Ray Hilton, number 73. It's going to be a third down and inches for a first down. In the backfield are Scotty Bauer, Terry Ashby, Thad Michael, Greg Harper, the two ends, number 14, Brian Miller, and number 17 is Sean Rickard. On a third down and inches, the ball right at midfield. Ashby is a wing on the left side. Michael, and Thad is still running. He's going. Thad Michael from 50 yards out. What a great piece of running and some terrific blocking once again by that Camper offensive line.
You just cannot, Chuck, you just cannot grab a hold of him and bring him down. You got to wrap your arms around him. They're grabbing at slipper uniforms, and he literally slid out of two tackles. And you got to really wrap your arms to bring him down, and you got to get down low because you're not going to hit him up high and bring him down.
Well, that puts Thad up over. No, he had 16 in the first half, so he quickly gets a fast 50. So that makes it 36-0 as we are trying now for a 2-point conversion. Ashby is a wing on the left side. And Harper, Greg is in for the 2-point conversion.
Well, they didn't have the instant replay, Chuck, but it was a replay of the beginning of the first half. Allegany took the first initial possession and scored. So,
and it didn't take long.
It did not take very long. We're
less
at
than 2 minutes.
We're at 10:53 to go, or 10:23 to go here in the third quarter. And Allegany has put their 38th point on the board.
As we look at the Wayne's Chevron scoreboard, and it is Allegany 38 and Edgewood nothing. And we'd like to remind you that Wayne's Chevron is proud to be co-sponsoring this broadcast of the Allegany playoff game. And if you need to have service done on your car, contact Wayne's Chevron at the corner of Queen City Drive and Center Street.
I'll tell you, Chuck, I think it's quit raining.
I believe you're right, Mark.
So right now, the raindrops have stopped. I honestly think we lost some fans, which in all truth, I can't hardly blame them. But I think some of the fans decided at halftime, when it was still raining, to go on home.
So Stevens to kick off. Back deep are Samuels, and he's flanked by Blackson and Brian Johnson. Shannon's shaking a little bit of mud loose from his shoe out there. And here we go. And it's a nice kick. Samuels at the 16-yard line. And it's a Shannon Stevens on the tackle at the 38-yard line.
Shannon just able to get a shoulder into his feet and bring him down.
It looked like he had a lane to come up through there, but
Shannon doesn't get him, Chuck. We're looking at 6 for Edgewood.
yeah, he found a good. Samuels found a seam, so it's from the 38-yard line. It's 1st and 10. As Faze is a wide out on the left side, French a wide out on the right side. Howie Adams, the quarterback. Samuels and Blackston, the running backs, line behind him.
Ooh,
and
Wolford just put a big bear hug on it.
Now, we got to get a flag here. I bet they're going to call him for a face mask, and he didn't have the face mask at all.
The
You
call
got a
was,
man 10 yards down the field going to make that call, and you got two other officials standing right there on the play.
no, the coach made that call. Coach was a hollering.
And that's exactly what it is. That's a, pardon my French, but that's a bad call. That's a bad call on a man 15 yards down the field, got no business making that call. Anyhow, it's going to be a 15-yard penalty against the Campers. It'll give the Rams 1st down at midfield.
And that comes from the lips of an official.
The man 15 yards away from that play when there's 2 other guys standing right around, got no business.
Well, it was so delayed too.
That's right.
That's what obviously makes it stand out, as the coach is standing there hollering at the official.
So he was intimidated, but anyhow, it's a 1st down. We had some movement by the left guard.
There's a fumble. He fumbled that because, once again, Wolford had the quarterback wrapped up, and he still tried to make the handoff, and the ball just kind of floated up in the air.
Well, you were watching that. I was watching their left guard as he left a long time before that snap, but I didn't see any flag for that. Well, all right, that's enough of that business. Let's get back to playing football.
That's right. You got to have them zebras down there. They're not perfect. I mean, they make mistakes. But
Okay, so on the fumble, they were fortunate enough to recover. So it's going to be 2nd down and 10. And Randy, on 2 straight plays, has really gotten up over his man and gotten a hold of the quarterback.
he's got a fix on
He mishandled a snap again. Howie Adams, the quarterback, he does lean forward for about a yard, maybe a yard and a half. But it's around 3rd and long.
He just mishandled a snap that time. That was, here again, it's, you hate to keep harping on the conditions because both teams are playing under the same conditions. It's just Edgewood, in my opinion, is not ready to play. You know, they came up here and they're not ready to play, and the Campers are ready to play. They had the pleasure last night of being able to view the Fort Hill Allegany game. TCI, I think they did that for my benefit, Chuck. Since I missed the game,
since you missed it, they wanted you to see it.
They put it on last night so I could watch it, and Edgewood sat in their rooms down there at the Holiday Inn and was able to watch the game. And I asked them how they enjoyed
quarterback
it.
option. Harper's after him, and Stevens after him. They get him inside the 40.
I'll tell you, he took the dive that time. He just went down before he lost any more yardage, because if he'd have stayed on his feet, he'd probably lost another 5 before he finally got to the end lines. But you had Stevens and Harper, Riggleman. I mean, they were on his case.
Yeah, in great pursuit. So they got back to 15 at the face. Well, pardon me. that the penalty got him, so it's going to be back. It's a punting situation as the ball is spotted at the 39-yard line.
Now, I honestly know that the game last night, TCI put that the homecoming game on again because of great fan requests for it. They got a lot of calls over the week and wanted to see it again, and so TCI was able to do it, and we hope you did enjoy it.
Blackston punting, and they Harper at the 22, and it's fumbled.
I think 83. Scott Coon's got it back.
It looked like there was a miscommunication between Greg Harper and Brian Miller on that kick.
Well, it was over. When it was over Harper's head, he should have just gotten away from it. But being the instinctive football player he is, he wanted to go get it and pick it up, and that was probably a mistake, but it is not a costly mistake.
So the Campers get it at their own 21-yard line.
And you can see the canal being created again. Of course, it's been there. Actually, at the beginning of the game, Chuck, we didn't have the canal. It's kind of just floated up here. And
we got a lot of rain. So there they are, in the extension of the C&O Canal. We got Miller wide open out here. And actually, the pass was underthrown.
As the saying goes, there was too much air under that ball.
Because Brian was wide open.
Of course, you can't take, I guess the ball is a little slippery. Had he been able to get it out there, Miller was 5 or 6 yards behind the defender.
Now Brian Johnson, number 43, was able to get back. It just looks like that it had Scotty thrown it more directly down the field instead of towards the sidelines. But, you know, again,
you're taking a ball that's wet,
and
muddy,
and trying to throw a ball 30 yards.
He at least got it there.
Yeah, he did. Second down and 10.
Fumble.
And Bauer just falls on it. So it's going to bring up third down and 10.
I'll tell you who I don't see out there. I don't see David Cassidy.
No, I don't either.
That may have been the switch they made when Klein had to come in and play guard. And
maybe David
is did not play defense that time, and he hadn't been in the fullback. So
I hope there's nothing wrong with him.
Well, I do too.
Oh, they actually lost a yard. Third down and 11.
Fumbled again. That's just, he's fumbling the exchange. That time Bauer just pulled out a little too quick.
So it's a punting situation.
So not exactly one of the prettier drives they've ever tried to put together, but
this will be the Campers' second punt.
A couple mistakes made there, 2 fumbles, and that, you know, those kind of things can hurt.
So back deep to receive. There's looks like a white jersey out there. Number 18 is Derek Terry, along with Samuel. Andre Samuel back to receive the punt from Shannon Stevens. It's a bad snap, and he did a great job to get it away. And it's going to get a Camper roll. It's going to roll dead at the Allegany 49.
That time, Chuck, they ran into Stevens, the kicker. But I'm going to ask you a question. If the ball hits the ground on the way back to the kicker, does that nullify any?
No.
I didn't know whether that had anything to do with it or not. I thought maybe if it hit the ground.
Well, they may be taking into consideration the type of field conditions or anything down here. You know, maybe the guy tried to stop and
it wasn't anything. I mean, it was nothing belligerent or anything like that, but I'm sure you got some of the coaching staff on the other side. Jack Gilmore's a hauling roughing the kicker, which he really didn't, but I just wondered if the ball hitting the ground had anything to do with...
No. There's another white jersey out there. What is that, number 76, Willie Finger.
6'2", 237-pound senior. They must have got a couple.
Oh, they got all kinds of movement out there this time. Everybody moved, and the ball didn't get snapped.
It looked like lotion in motion that time. The whole line moved, and the only thing that didn't move was the center.
There's another clean jersey. You got number 76 out there. Finger, number 70 is Tyrone Graves.
5'9", 215-pound sophomore. Maybe he's starting to look, said, well, I want to look at him. He's got 13, I think they said 13 seniors, and they're all starters. Now maybe now he wants to get a chance to look at some of his younger players and see what he's got coming for next year. Because I think in all essence he's kind of given up on the idea of winning this game.
So it's 1st and 15.
Boom. Stacked up again.
Stacked up once again as he tried the second back coming out of the backfield. Blackston. Oates down in the bottom of that pile along with Wolford. So I can see that some of those clean jerseys are coming right back out and didn't go to the dirty ones.
Yeah, you guys didn't look very good. I'm going to get rid of you, and I'm going to buy some more players. 2:46 to go here in the third quarter. 38-0. Alleghany Campers ahead of the Edgewood Rams.
2nd down and 16. There again, that long count by Adams, quarterback keeper, nowhere.
Harry Riggleman had him by the shoestrings and wouldn't let go. Was able to drag him down.
So that's going to bring up 3rd down and 14.
I guess you have to wonder whether a long count has been a part of their program all year or whether they're just trying to maybe catch Alleghany off guard and draw them off sides, but it has not worked, Chuck.
Not up to this point it hasn't, Mark. They can say the Campers are very patient. Faze out wide on the right side on a 3rd and 14. Pitch nowhere, runs right into Randy Wolford, and you're not going to get anywhere when you run into him.
That's for daggone sure.
So a loss of about 2, maybe 3 yards on the play. A punting situation once again for the Rams as the loss is back to the 44-yard line. 4th down and 16.
I was watching, I watched Billis that time, number 75. He was out trying to block Stevens, and Stevens hit him, and he went right down in the mud, and Stevens just kind of fell on him, and he got up and shoved Stevens like, get out of here.
There's the Wayne Chevron scoreboard. It's Alleghany 38, Edgewood nothing, as we are in the third quarter. Another bad snap, and nowhere. Hilton tripped him up as another bad snap from center, and Blackston not able to get the kick away. The Campers are going to get it at the Edgewood 44.
I don't think it was a kick to start with, Chuck. I think it was a fake all the way. The way the blocking scheme had set up downfield, it looked to me like they were planning to run the ball anyway. Of course, they have nothing to lose. I mean, you know, why not give it a try? I will see if what Toby Eric's got in mind. Does he want to just get out of this ball game, or does he want to still try to run his offense? I keep accusing him of shutting her down every once in a while.
Now there's Thad Michael.
This is not shutting it down.
And Thad's going. He's going again. It's going to be a 44-yard run by Thad Michael. So 2 carries in this half has netted him a total of 94 yards.
Well, Toby, I'm going to say you've decided not to shut her down. I'm glad to see it in a way. 44-0. Of course, they're going to go for 2. This is not a sign of trying to punish the other team. It's just they've decided not to kick any more extra points.
Well, Jack said I may never kick another one.
He may never kick another one.
Now there's Ashby, and there's those blocks, and I tell you, he's walked in every time.
Yes, he has. The hole's been there so wide that we actually, Chuck, you and I could both have run it through.
So it's 46 for the Alleghany Campers and nothing for the Edgewood Rams on the Wayne Chevron scoreboard. And we're going to take a timeout here for this commercial message. We'd like to remind you.
Welcome back here to Greenway Avenue Stadium. With the score of 46-0, Alleghany ahead. Gives us a chance while they're getting ready to kick off here that remind you some of our sponsors bringing you today's game. Potomac Farms Dairy. Support your local cow because your local cow supports you. They also support fine sporting events like this in our area. It's Potomac Farms Dairy. And also by Potomac Valley Pharmacy Let Bob Martin Sr. and Bob Martin Jr. take care of your home medical needs. They are located at 501 North Center Street and feature free home delivery.
So once again, Shannon Gomer Stevens, has the ball teed up ready to kick it off. The Campers 46 and the Rams nothing. And next week, the Campers will play the winner of the Wild Lake Forestville game here at Greenway Avenue Stadium. And the ball is going to be down at the 36-yard line as
whoever,
I think that's number 83, Chad Kornke, just went down to his knees to make sure that it didn't get any further.
And once again, I think it's a sign that Western Maryland football is maybe a little bit ahead of kind of the down east football city, because you know, when you look at a team here, they came in here, they were 8-2. They'd only lost 2 ball games, and they play within a confines down there of Howard County and Baltimore County and teams like that, and they rate themselves as a good football team, and I'm sure they are, but they're like a step behind what Allegany and this area of football puts on.
Adams trying to throw it, can't complete it. Was intended down here at the 45-yard line for his tight end. No, he's just back out of the backfield, Blackston. They got a couple new jerseys in there for the Allegany Campers. Number 20 is Johnny Fields in at the cornerback position. Also number 34, Nettinger in at the defensive end. Lance Lawyer is in, Hilton is in, Klein is in, Stevens is in, Wolford is in, Riggleman, Keys, Miller, and Harper, I believe, defensively now for the Campers.
They should get a chance here to rest, maybe rest some of their starters if they want to. Sometimes the starters don't want to come out. There's a little.
That
is not what's termed a busted play. That was the fullback the tailback
didn't want
the ball. He didn't move.
And Shannon Stevens was right there to make sure that Holly Adams didn't go very far.
He said, hey, 66 is in my hole, and ain't no way I'm going to run it. You get killed.
So we're ticking down here, 25 seconds and counting remaining in this third period. It's 3rd down and 9 for the Rams. As Jason Fast comes out here to the right side, split out wide. Holly Adams, the quarterback. And what a job. I'm telling you, David Klein shot the gap and got Blackston just as he received the ball, and he throws him back to the 35-yard line. Loss of a couple as the third quarter comes to an end. It's the Allegany Campers 46. Well, we're ready to begin the fourth quarter. It's a 4th down situation for the Edgewood Rams. 4th, about 12 yards to go, as the Campers have really dominated this football game. They lead by a score of 46-0. As it has quit raining.
Starting to clear off, Chuck. We can almost see this. We can almost see some real clouds now.
Well, it's been kind of a.
Look at that! I love that right there.
That's a beautiful shot right there by our cameraman Brian Alderton, giving us a beautiful shot of the extension of the C&O Canal that has been running through Greenway Avenue Stadium over the last few weeks.
Chuck, there's fish in there. There's got to be some fish in there.
But there again, it's another good shot by our cameraman of showing you just how much water and everything, even along the sidelines here, that there is just a lot of water. Water everywhere.
And I'm sure they've even drunk some.
All right, here we go. 4th down, punting situation. As Andy Martin is back in punt formation for the Rams. Miller and Harper back deep for the Campers, as Stevens almost got to it. And the ball's going to roll dead at the Allegany 45. Stevens almost got a hand on it.
Well, think we'll probably, Chuck, see some more new numbers. One of them is going to be a new quarterback, number 16, Todd Hancock.
Now, that's the first we've seen him this year.
5'11", 145-pound sophomore. And the book on him, Chuck, is he has got a rifle. He can really throw the ball well. But I don't think they'll be looking to throw the ball here.
Okay, from their own 45, the Campers, 1st and 10. Coons, the ball carrier, up to the 49-yard line. He'll get 2, maybe 3 yards. So let's see if we can pick up some numbers here. Who's there? Johnny Fields checks in, replacing Terry Ashby. So Hancock, Harper, Coons, and Johnny Fields in the backfield for the Campers. Dentinger, number 34, is in at one end. I think Brian Miller is still in at the other end. Wolf still in there. Tackle, fumble.
He still picked it up.
And he'll pick up a couple yards.
Tell you what, it's great instinct for him to pick the ball up and keep on going with it.
Yeah, he picks up about 3 yards on the carry. Got to bring up a 3rd down and 5. So Ashby checks back in. So let's see, we've got Joe Wolf, Randy Wolford, Hilton, Pfeiffer, Oates. Oh, the guys up front.
Wolf at center, you got him.
Yeah.
There's Scott Pfeiffer's in. I think we got them all.
There's a flag on to play as Ashby comes around the right side. Terry would have enough yardage for the 1st down, but
probably some motion in the backfield.
That's what it is. Motion against the Campers, so it nullifies a 1st down. We'll bring up a 3rd down and 10. Back at the original line of scrimmage.
I tell you, I was talking to Charlie Latimer a little bit before the game, and at halftime, of course, the field, that's the big discussion when you talk to him, is the field, and we were talking about some different stuff, and he says, well, we get a fund drive together and get about $190,000 raised, we'll AstroTurf this. And I'm looking at Hancock out here. I know his dad. Maybe we can roof the place. Put a big roof over this. What do you think, John?
So it's 3rd down and 10 for the Campers.
A couple big I-beams sticking up there in the middle of the field, holding up a roof. That wouldn't be a bad idea.
Again, we're going to try that play with Ashby. He cuts inside Randy Wolford.
Wolford just grabbed him and pushed him forward. He said, I don't want to block you.
And Terry picked up some good yardage, but they're going to be about 2 yards short of a 1st down.
He kind of looked like one of them skaters you find out on speed skaters. They grab a hold of a guy and try to wing him around you and get you moving faster.
All right, 4th down and 2. You're up 46-0, 9 minutes, 40 seconds remaining in the ball game, and the Campers are going to go for it. Todd Hancock, sophomore quarterback. Fields comes in motion. Michael, the ball carrier. Thad has the 1st down near the 40-yard line.
Thad just knocked Harper right out of the way. Harper goes, why me? Thad goes up and says, get out of my way.
I guess Thad is glad to be back playing again.
I'm sure he is.
Got to play last week for the 1st time for a month. And did very well.
Ashby come back in, going to give Harper a rest since Harper got knocked down so hard that time.
All right, it's 1st and 10 for the Campers.
Nothing worse than getting knocked down by your own running back.
Well, you get knocked down in that mud, you're going to slide a ways, you know.
Soft landing.
Fields. Johnny cuts inside. And boy, does he hit.
He'll hit
right
the
about
slide.
the line of scrimmage. Now he's going to get his uniform dirty on that play.
Yeah, he's got to wash his now.
Damon Bomar, number 38 on the stop.
We're at 8:36 and the clock running. Allegany's got some more new people in there now.
I believe I see Earl Emmerich, number 70, is in there.
Brand spanking new clean uniform.
My. Woo! Here comes Harper. And Greg lost his footing and just kind of dove forward inside the 35-yard line because he had Hilton out there, leading that blocking.
One official's got him marked where he went down. Another one's got him marked where he slid to.
And he's down. So Harper is down.
He is down while he's tending to him on the field. Gives us a chance to once again thank some of our fine sponsors. Brown's TV, from VCRs and camcorders to big screen TVs and the Zenith Digital System 3. Let the fine folks at Brown's show you what they've got. Brown's TV, Wood Street in Cresaptown. And also being brought to you by TCI Cablevision Advertising. The holiday shopping season is coming soon. Advertise now on Cable News Network, the Nashville Network, ESPN, USA Today, or MTV. And listen to those cash registers ring. Call 722-6547 for advertising information and ask for Kathy LaGrata.
So you got good news and bad news. The good news is it really isn't a serious injury. The bad news is he's got a cramp, and they are painful.
Especially on a day like today when it's down below 70 degrees and it really hurt.
Yeah, way down below 70 degrees.
I told you, Chuck, last game I was at was 75 degrees. I don't understand how they play in this stuff.
Yeah, there's Cohen's the ball carrier, no gain. So number 23 is in the ball game now, Brian Robinette.
You got a lot of tied, clean boys out there now, I'm going to tell you that.
Randy Joyner is in there.
63, Randy Joyner.
And number 70, Earl Emmerich, we mentioned him. Here comes John Scoopus into the lineup.
82 going out of the lineup, Fernando Wallace. They got to get them all out there and get them muddy. I don't care.
All right, it's 4th down and 6. And he will not get it.
And that was the entire starting lineup for Edgewood was in on that tackle.
Robinette was the ball carrier. And they do turn it over.
So it's 7 minutes to go here in the game. Edgewood takes over on downs. Number 70, Earl Emmerich, coming into the game. I think he's been in before, but he's got one of the clean ones.
Okay, defensively, let's see. We have Dettinger.
Lance
Lawrence.
Lawyer, I'm sorry.
Is that 53? Is that Eisentrout in the middle?
83 is Scott Coons.
Let's see. Yeah, Eric, there's Eisentrout. 53
60, Dave Klein. 53, he's in there. He is Mr. Clean right now. Derek Eisentrout.
Ollie Adams, the quarterback for the Rams. Blackiston. And he bounces off of a tackler. Bounced off of Lance Lawyer. And he's finally tripped up after he gains about 2 yards. Dettinger on the stop.
Okay, Allegany just sent what would be termed the majority of their starting lineup into the dressing room. I think one concern they had this week was they were having problems with flu and colds, and I'm sure they want to maybe get him in out of this weather as soon as they could. Maybe that's why they're sending him in, but I'm sure they want him to get in there and get a shower and get warmed up as quick as they can.
Okay, we got, let's see who else we got out here. Hey.
There's still a long count
again. Fumble!
That's Allegany's
I think
ball.
The Campers have it. He's down on the bottom of the pile. Number 53, Derek Eisentrout.
So he was clean there for about 2 seconds, and then he got down and walled around that mud to get all that pigskin and says, it's mine. And now I'll tell you what, they can't be sending too many people off the field because they ain't got too many to send back on. I think it's the case you're on there, buddy. You're in for the duration.
You're here. So from the 37-yard line, the Campers on the fumble recovery.
Chuck's used 3 pages today to keep these scores and stuff. It exchanges of balls.
There's Coons.
Right in the mud. I love it. I love it. Look at that.
Oh, mercy. He's down to the 30-yard line. He picks up 7 yards on the carry.
And he didn't have his fishing license or he'd have gone further.
Sean Day checks into the lineup as Lawyer leaves and Fernando Wallace leaves. So Eisentraut is in there. We got some players in there that I'm very sorry we don't have on our roster. Some of the JV players that have dressed for this ball game. All I can tell you is number 50 is in the ball game. As Coons is going to be very close to a first down. And we don't have a 50. We don't have an 81.
I can tell you, I can tell you who 81 is because I know his walk. That's Jimmy O'Neill.
Okay.
And I know his walk because he lives across the street from me.
Okay, so Jimmy O'Neill, number 81, is in there, but we still don't know who number 50 is.
He doesn't have a walk. He's kind of got a stroll about him.
Like I say, a lot of the JV players right now are in this ball game.
Fumble!
And Coons, I believe it was either Coons or Robinette, 23 or 83. You have to see who was in there.
I don't know whether you call
Recovered
that.
the ball.
I don't know whether you term that scooped it up or what. But he ended up with it anyway.
And I think it's Coons, 83. So it's 4th down and 3.
I'll tell you, whoever runs it down here, you know who's going to run the ball here because they'll have an aqua lung on. Because they get down in this water, man, they could drown. 3:42 to go in the game. Allegany up, of course, 46-0. That's an offsides.
Yeah,
it wasn't called.
Not called. That's the second time that's happened. That outside man didn't see fit to throw.
Yeah,
the flag.
we just don't call him. You know what I mean?
I just let him go, but that would have been a first down for the Campers if he'd have called it. But it isn't. They turn it over, and it's going to be the Rams' ball.
Now Rams have finally sent in their ailing quarterback, Andy Martin. This is the fellow that started for him and really is their more accurate passer. But he got a shoulder either separated or broken a couple weeks ago. Couldn't have been broken or he wouldn't be there. Must have been a shoulder separation, but they're going to stick him in there now.
So we're at 3 minutes and 10 seconds and counting. It's the Campers 46. The Rams nothing. It's the Rams ball, 1st and 10 from their own 30. As Andy Martin is now the quarterback.
Fumble?
And he fumbled a snap. He gets nothing. Also have a new running back in there. Looks like Young for the. Also another jersey checking in there. Tony McKenzie, number 11, checks in.
I don't know who it was. One of the backs for the Rams came up there and flopped down right smack on his face. He looked like a big walleye right out of water flopping around there.
So the gain is a half yard, 2nd down and 9. Another
miscue. That was a nice handoff.
And to tell you, a nice job out there on the corner.
Brian Robinette grabbed on, just held on till he got a little help.
And that was Greg Young.
That was one of the more unique handoffs I've ever seen. Quarterback had a guy on his arm and just couldn't quite get it pitched the way he wanted to.
So a loss is about 6 yards. Going to make up a 3rd down and 16. Well, there's a couple more new ones in here. Jamie Spees is in there. Fernando Wallace, John Scoopus. And there's that number 42. I think that's P.J. Shook is in at a cornerback. Tailback nowhere. He's tripped up by number 72, Jeff Campbell. As it brings up a 4th down.
Well, it's 4th down, Chuck, but Edgewood is definitely going to go for it. They have absolutely nothing to lose. Now they're questioning, like Fernando Wallace wants to know if he wants anybody to go back, and Toby Eric does send him back to.
Well, they are not going to run, as you said. So the deep men come charging back up the field. So it's 4th down and 13. The fullback, and he's not going to get a first down. They're going to lose it on downs.
A hostess of tacklers is all you can say.
Whole bunch of blue shirts.
A bunch of blue, gray, and mud shirts made to tackle. Clock's still running 51 seconds, Chuck, and this misery is going to be over for the Rams. I think the nicest thing that happened to them this weekend was they got to watch Allegany beat Fort Hill last night on TV. That was the highlight of their weekend right there.
So it is the Campers 46 and the Edgewood Rams nothing, as we're down to 30 seconds and counting. This will probably be the last play of this ball game. Full house backfield. And Hancock just goes down on one knee, and that'll be it.
So the boys of Sedgwick Street, Chuck, showed up again today.
Yeah, they did.
And they did the job.
They certainly did. Right from the outset, it's just been an overwhelming victory by the Allegany Campers. And once again, their defense excelled. Their offense did what it had to do. It's just been a great team effort. So the game is over. It's the Campers 46 and Edgewood nothing on the Days Market and Deli's scoreboard. And we'll be back for our wrap-up. Well, there's the center of the field as you see the Allegany Campers and the Edgewood Rams exchanging congratulatory handshakes. The Campers, with an overwhelming performance once again, emerge on top with a 46-0 score, and that makes them 6-0 here at Greenway Avenue Stadium in championship play. So quickly, let's just recap the scoring. Brian Miller took the opening kickoff, 83 yards for a touchdown. The attempted extra point from Bauer to Sean Ricker was no good on the pass. It was 6-0. 11:48 mark. At that 9:36 mark, with the help of a bad snap on an attempted punt, the Campers got it at the 2-yard line. Scott Bauer, on a quarterback keeper, takes it in. Then David Cassidy on a 2-yard run for the conversion. It was 14-0. Then on a 60-yard drive, David Cassidy culminating it with an 11-yard run at the 2:49 mark, and Terry Ashby's run for the conversion, and it was 22-0 at halftime. Then the Campers scored again with the help of a fumble recovery by David Cassidy. We're able to go 58 yards with the 15-yard touchdown pass from Scotty Bauer to Sean Ricker. Terry Ashby ran in a 2-point conversion. It was 30-0. Then in the third quarter, it was the Thad Michaels show, as Thad ran 50 yards for a touchdown at the 10:23 mark. Greg Harper's 2-yard run for the conversion point was 38-0. Then at the 1:26 mark, Thad once again on a 44-yard run. Terry Ashby ran in for the 2-point conversion, and that's where it is, 46-0. Mark Widmeyer, a great day for the Campers.
Well, totally. I mean, everything they did, both offensively and defensively, went their way. They fumbled the ball a couple times, recovered it, and it just seems like that they're at home, and when you're at home, things like that happen to you. You make your own breaks, and they made a few of them, but all in all, their offense was just overwhelming, and Edgewood really never, ever was in this ball game. Never.
No, you're absolutely right. As we said, Brian Miller took the ensuing kickoff and, the starting kickoff and ran it back in. And then after that bad snap from center, just down 14-0. It's all downhill from there.
Well, it was, and we pointed out, I think, a couple times, particularly in the second half, when they came out and had to kick off again, and then Allegany took the ball in and scored. From that point on, they didn't even want to be here. I pointed out before the half, if there was any lights, they would have probably turned the lights out and gone home then, because it was pouring down rain at that time. The rain has stopped, but still in all, you've got to give them a little credit, because let's face it, they're 8-2. They're in the playoffs. They're rated as the 8th best team in the state of Maryland in Class 2A. So they had to have beaten somebody, and they had to have played well, at other times, I guess. They just did not. They really took themselves out of the game. I felt with the coin toss. Why do you give the highest scoring football team in the state of Maryland, why do you want to give them the ball? I mean, it's just...
Good question.
It just does not make any sense to me. Like I say, I'm just basically a spectator and a guy that likes to talk, but I do not understand that kind of philosophy. But still in all, they're the head coaches. They get paid a lot of money to do what they do, and, you and I, you get paid a lot of money, and I just do it for the fun of it. You know what I mean? But anyhow, I think that's really where they really took a step back. Of course, you don't expect to kick the ball off and have it run down your throat right away, and that's what happened. And and then you don't expect the center to snap the ball over your punter's head and turn the ball over the 2-yard line. But at that point, I felt that there was no way that they were ever going to get back in the game, because they just did not have any kind of the spirit or desire that I felt they needed.
Okay, so that has been the story here from Greenway Avenue Stadium. The Allegany Campers advance to the semifinals in State Class 2A championship football. Next week, they will be here once again at Greenway Avenue Stadium to play the winner of the Come on out here and support